This is what firemen would use to actually help save people. So again, this is an attachment for a cell phone. It just makes it nice and convenient so we can use it, and it's nice and light in my bag. Now, you guys can see me in there, red, orange, and yellow guy. If you were a bridal party, I would make the joke that I'm the hottest thing inside the video right now. But that joke is there on purpose to give you a point of reference when you get your video back. So we're obviously looking for cold spots, which are going to be blue and black. So that's the way that this device is actually set up. It's much easier to use. There's different filters we can use, but this one seems to be the easiest for all of you beginners that come to see me. I'm looking for blue and black to either take shape or to start moving on its own. When I say take shape, I'm looking for head, shoulders, moving arms and legs, if that makes sense. Those are the things that we've caught with this particular camera. There's also a blue dot bouncing around your screen. That blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So again, it's there to help just guide your eye. Though I always pay attention to that one, I'm always looking at both the blue dot when I'm spot checking and the blue and black areas around whatever else is in the frame. Now, the cool thing for you is we're going to do a few starts.
You still getting the stick figure?
It was still there, yeah. So what was in front of something else? I mean, where was it exactly? It was
kind of the right tail light.
Okay. All right. So now that we have something, we have it on before, it means that it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
so, and again, what I do with your videos.
Wow.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I want to take a look at her full work list. Why this car would be so much cooler than all the others.
32 degrees, 35, 29.
That's a huge drop.
25.
Are you recording?
Yes. Now it's going up to 55. Now it's back down to in the 20s. 26. Over here by this tire, 80 degrees. This tire, 40 degrees. In the 20s. 60-degree difference between 4 feet.
I wonder why.
The same car.
Moving. Yeah, and it's not moving.
So this goes down as far as the low 20s. The tire, 2 feet away, 83 degrees.
The question is why. I don't have that answer.
Well, if it's an engine issue, then this whole top of the fender should be similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, consistently 30s and below up here, sometimes in the 40s, but right anywhere past that point, 80, 70s and 80s.
And the car hasn't been here that long because the engine's still warm. You can see the door is much cooler than the engine, so it's just weird that those cold temperatures are coming, and it looks like it's right on the brim of the top of that headlight.
I mean, we're talking statistically significant. We're talking twice as cold, twice as hot, you could say here, as to 2 feet over.
Yeah, I would expect the engine to be warmer because, I mean, it's glowing right now. And
but it's colder.
But I'm thinking, like, our blue dot is this little brim.
Yes, right above the light.
Are you getting something?
It's chrome.
There's a 40-degree difference between the corner of that light and this 2 feet away to the right.
But it's chrome at the top there. So that could explain part of it. I just don't have a full explanation of chrome and why it would be so much cooler.
This spot up here by the chrome was getting down. It got as low as 21 degrees. Over here it's 83.
21 Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all in Fahrenheit.
I mean, that's 12 degrees below freezing. Think about that. There's nothing here could conceivably be 12 degrees below freezing.
So now I gotta dive into why chrome would be so damn cold.
It's
All
an
right,
AC
so let me follow up
compressor.
with everybody else to see what else we got going on. Any other words that I need to know about?
34.
I walked in the back.
John Calhoun, Sue Howard Hardy. This used to be my big finale at the end. I would tell like 3 stories and tell everybody, go across the street, go stay in the lot, go in front of the building. You know, I would tell people, just spread out and have some fun. This is your last stop, but it's not our last stop now. So I only usually tell just the Anne Bonny story, just so we can get to where we're going. No, fortunately. I have tried to even just get in these buildings to go investigate during the daytime, and I have to sneak around it. Because if I let the people know what they're doing, like, they'll throw me out, whether I bought a ticket to the museum or not. We're in a Bible Belt. It's slam door with anything paranormal, supernatural. Some places, like when I go into Dock Street Theater, like they welcome that because you can do your self-guided tours of the place.
Where's that?
That's on Church Street. That's actually right down the road. It's only 1 block away. I'll actually be there tomorrow night, taking the night off to take my daughter to a play she wants to see because she's a drama kid. But anyway, they'll let me walk around and they'll give you like the pamphlet of all the ghosts and stuff. I never really get a whole lot out of that place, but it is the oldest theater in America. So again, you would think with some of the things that have gone on in that location, but a lot of it is myth from what I've been able to define. A lot of my research has found that. So that's why I don't throw the Dock Street Theater stories anymore. So I do a lot of debunking and then try to pick and choose what I'm going to do. So I think the involvement that I have now has really been a good set. Like the next location, I don't know much about it. It's the new space of this year. So we're going to actually experiment. We're going to see if Colin wants to stick with that spirit box or not, because we're going to blindfold him and put noise-canceling headphones on him, and he's not going to know the history of the space. We're going to do the Estes method.
All right.
Have you seen that? I'm sure you have. So I figured we'd say it.
That's an interesting part.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be under. It's a whole nother thing to watch it. And I've been doing it pretty much nightly. I'd say for probably the past 4 or 5 weeks. It's really picking up a lot of like, holy cow, that's where my reviews are coming from. Whoever's under is usually the first person to leave a 5-star review. So I'm like, I gotta keep doing this. I'm gonna buy the blindfolds in bulk now. So again, it's working out really well. So, and I don't know much about the
Back here
space.
for 1 second.
From
See what
whatever
you're doing.
So that's the fun
Sort of
part.
curious.
Everything we talked about tonight came from evidence from tours. Like this wasn't
So they're just
like the
good.
city said you have to tell this about Anne Bonny or the Pinckney family.
Do you want the words
Everything we
again?
talked about came from
No.
evidence of previous
Yeah,
tours,
so-
and it's just built up and built up and built up to the long stories that I tell you. The fun thing about the last place, I don't know much about it, so it's a very short history on the gentleman we're going to be looking for, and then we're going to blindfold him and we're going to see what the hell happens.
Ever team up with like-minded people?
I do. Actually, I'm the one that gets called because spirit box work is usually like the forte for me. I do really well on any speed. I do really well under the Estes method. And it's probably because I listen to that recording every single morning for a minimum of 30 to 45 minutes at a time, spot checking your guys' data. So my listening skills for a spirit box are usually why a team would call me. So I've been called from other podcasts. I got a couple other teams calling me right now wanting me to travel, and I just can't with my peak season. So again, I can't give up my bread and butter to go on an investigation. It's not going to pay anything. Yeah, it is. But I'm normally called because of my spirit box talents, and I use a lot of them. So I have ones that'll take white noise, and I can use those on any speed. I have ones that use AM and FM together, and take take out the white noise. I have that one that'll record the entire session for us, which is really nice. That's probably my favorite, just because it is fast, and I can double check my work, so I can go back and re-listen, kind of see what he's spotting. So the things that he's telling me, I'll probably catch some of that when I'm spotting. You guys ready for answers? Because I don't think we have much going on. You guys were testing things out with the spirit box. Did you get anything else?
The only other word I've heard is saving.
Saving. That could be any commercial in America right now. Yeah, nice. Anything going on crazy with that camera over there, Blaine?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Again, that one's not always a real-time catch, just so you know.
Okay.
That's a review for the next day on a nice big screen. You guys can have a seat. We're going to show here while I give you the answers and then tell you what we're going to be doing at the next base completely. So, I'm only excited about my baby right now. I will give you a link to the Sue Howard Hardy story. However, it will say warning that this has a link to the photo, so that way you don't open it up by accident. Just so you know. Again, I take this very seriously, as you can obviously tell. So, let's see here. Anne Bonny, the only picture, well, not the only picture, but one of the few pictures you can find of this young lady with a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare a breast to show men that they were just killed by a female. Told you, she was pretty badass back then, and even a badass as a pirate. Obviously, her color hair is red, but her parents' names were William Cormac, Mary Brennan. That's a whole nother 30-minute scandal because Mary Brennan was one of the servants for the Cormac home. So again, you can see where that's another scandal, but it's not relative to our space, which is why I don't get into it. This was also not another subliminal trick. We just happen to have two different Marys that are in the same story. But the funny thing about William and Mary, when you guys are asking about the parents, it's usually one person that comes back to me and says that they heard one phrase from a spirit box that said William and Mary. So it comes up as one phrase all the time. To me, you also have to look at your surroundings and see what's actually going on. So that kind of makes sense to me that would come up together. Calico Jack, I always show you what they based Johnny Depp off of. So Jack was named that after the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. So his father was a tailor, which means textiles were very important to him. Calico Jack basically translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. As far as the name of his ship that you guys were asking about, that was called the Kingston. I'm not expecting the word Kingston to come through the red spirit box that we have now. I have another spirit box that picks up better disembodied words a little bit quicker. I would expect it out of that. This is where we have to mix our tech with what the ghost is capable of giving us. What color is a big red barn? Blood. What's the name of your ship? King. I would take that as an acceptable answer as Kingston. He's using what he could to be able to give us that answer. And it might not be coming from him, it might be coming from Anne herself. We just never know. Let's see. I think that about covers all of the pirate questions. Oh, the city where she came from in Ireland was called Cork. So that will pop up from time to time. And a young lady actually heard that just the other night, so I was pretty excited about that. The funny thing about how I learned about Calico Jack and his affiliation with Anne Bonny was it was during holiday time, and somebody heard the phrase rack of ham, and we all laughed, but I wrote it down. And John Rackham is spelled Rackham. So again, these are things that I don't consider coincidental. So I have a lot of fun with this when you guys hear shit on there, and it doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to me later on. Alright, so the next base. So Colin, are you going to stick with the spirit box, or are you passing it off? Alright, so basically in a nutshell, we're going to be doing the Estes method at the next location. So somebody's going to sit with Colin on a bench while I give the other three of you the history of the space. It's very brief. And then we're going to blindfold you and put noise-canceling headphones on you, and you're going to repeat whatever you hear for 10 minutes. I'm going to be asking questions. I will also give you some tips and tricks because this can be very disorienting while you're under. Because again, we're taking away some of your senses so you can focus on your hearing. So again, this is a lot of fun. It could go really well, it could go really bad. So again, we've had nights where it's a complete unsuccessful session. We've had other nights where it's been a holy shit moment. So again, take it for what it's worth. The gentleman we're going to talk to is a very shy guy. That's why I give this 10 minutes. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but he normally takes 1-2 minutes just to warm up to me being there again. And other tours may be in that park. We're going to be walking about 2.5 blocks to get to this location. So if you want to record, by all means, do so. And I'm trying to get a lot of little clips from all the different cameras about the Estes method. Again, I definitely want you guys to be much closer because I don't want them seeing what the hell we're doing. We're probably going to have you stand up so we can surround him. Estes came from, this was the first method that they used at the Estes, Colorado site of the Stanley Hotel. So they just called it the Estes method because that's where it started. So again, Estes is spelled E-S-T-E-S. So it's a good question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that before, so good on you. It is 10:42, so I'm going to give him about 30 seconds or so before I start asking questions. are looking for Henry Timrod tonight. I know it's very busy in here, Mr. Timrod. But if you are with us, I want you to tell us what your occupation was. Let's start there. Let's make it nice and simple. Tell us what your occupation was.
Promises.
Henry Timrod, if you are here with us tonight, I want you to tell us what your occupation was.
Coverage.
What kind of coverage? Did you work for a newspaper?
Ready?
Now you're ready? Is that where we're going? I want to know what your occupation was.
Hello?
Ready and hello? That's pretty vague, Mr. Timrod. If you're not Henry Timrod, I want you to tell us what your first name is. I know a lot of people hang around this place, who haunt this place. What other names of people are here?
Started here.
I would like to know more about Henry Timrod. Oh, perfect. Mr. Timrod, what are we hearing right now coming out of St. Michael's Church? Please keep an eye on that. We normally get the answer somewhere. I don't know who the hell Brad is, but I'm going to dive in. Mr. Timrod, what are we hearing?
Wisdom.
Oh, you're hearing my wisdom. What are we hearing from the church right now?
Through him.
Mr. Timrod, let's go into the subject of your wife. Can you tell us what her name was? Or how you met her? It would be very interesting to know how you met her. I know there's a lot of people in here tonight, Mr. Timrod. It's very busy. Unfortunately, I can't control that. Can you please tell us about how you met your wife? He met her when she was only 16 years old. She was a student of his. So there's I think there was an 11-year age gap between the two of them. Mr. Timrod, please tell us how you met your wife, or give us her name, please.
Nation. Partner.
Partner's good. Who was your partner? Just taking a couple of deep breaths. I don't know if you guys have caught that. Nothing drastic, but it can be a lot to be underneath that. Mr. Timrod, it's been almost 4 minutes. You know we're only going to keep him under for 10 minutes. Now's your chance to tell us anything you want us to know. I've asked you a few questions. Things about St. Michael's Church and the sounds.
Things of the Spirit.
Things of the Spirit. What church was that coming out of? What church is across the street?
Whole thing.
It's really vague. We need something more specific. I'd have to look at the wife because it's not relative to any or his son. And that's not her name. Henry Timrod. What is your occupation?
Bottle.
Henry Timrod, please tell us what your occupation was. What does butterflies got to do with that?
Public school.
Public school. It's vague, but it's there. Okay, what about that public school? What did you do there?
Early.
What did you do at the school? Henry Timrod?
Just what they need.
What did you do at the school? Henry Timrod, you're not really giving us much. If you're not Henry Timrod that's here, please give us your first name. Let's see if you can get that again.
My life.
There's a lot that went on in your life. How old were you when you passed away? It's really hard for me to ask yes/no questions, by the way, just so you guys know.
Those are questions we ask at patients, yes.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
We're getting into time frames. Do you want to tell us about how old your son was when he passed away? About 7 minutes. Tell us more about your son. His name, his birthday, how old he was when he tragically passed. Maybe you want to tell us how he passed. I don't know the answer to that.
Alas, what he chose to do was join the army. There was an issue though. He technically wasn't old enough, so he lied. Down to age 22.
Tell me more.
Instead of 18, he signed his name Edgar Perry.
Do you want me to prove to you that I know about your son?
Officially transferred to Sullivan. Won't treat us as a Charleston connection. Welcome son Sullivan's Island considered something very uncharacteristic about us. He was enjoying himself. He was enjoying the sand.
You're gonna regret it.
No, he considered himself a student.
It's not a good sign, though, is it?
Byron thought he had a penchant of poetry in himself.
Let's go back to your wife. What was her name? Or if you want to give us her maiden name. I'll take that as an acceptable answer. Her maiden name was Goodwin, just so everybody knows.
Different is good.
Different is good. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We have the word good. I'm excited. Thank you for that, Henry. Now, what was your wife's first name, or what was her new last name to her new husband after you tragically passed? That would be Lloyd. Everybody's reference on that. Seems like you want to talk about Miss Katie.
Tell more truth.
Okay, that means I got to do more research, but I need some of that from you. Can you tell us how your son died?
843.
That's our area code. I'd throw those out. Can you tell us maybe how old you were when you passed away? Or what year that was? I'll take either number. He was 38 in 1867. Yeah, that's kind of new. Newer name. Henry, tell us how old you were when you passed away, or you can give us the year. We're down to 1.5 minutes. He's doing good, actually. His breathing seems to be pretty steady. Some people get a little excited underneath there. Henry, last chance, buddy. You were doing pretty good. You gave us a few clues about your wife.
Mighty power.
I'm excited about you told us the public school. And what was something is good?
Different is good.
Different is good.
He did say leave.
We got leave. Henry, one last chance. What was your age when you passed away?
Right before my eyes.
What did you see right before your eyes? What did you see? Henry Timrod, what did you see? Nothing. Okay, looks like I struck a nerve. I'm going to call it. Jared, go ahead and tap him up.